You've lost count of how many times you've sat in front of the screen, staring at a losing trade and telling yourself, "Today's market is too difficult. The big players just hunted my stop loss. The news messed up my setup." Sound familiar? Almost every trader has been there, blaming the market just to feel a little better. But the truth that very few people are willing to face is, the market has never been against you. It's just that you haven't been disciplined enough to survive in it. And if you're truly serious about this journey, not just placing random trades, but actually surviving and making money long term, then you need to watch this video until the end. Because what you're about to hear may not be comfortable, but it will change the way you see trading, and more importantly, the way you see yourself. If you find this kind of content valuable, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Because this is not a place that teaches you how to make money fast. It's a place that helps you stop losing money in a stupid way. Stop blaming the market and start being disciplined in silence. There is a phase that almost every trader goes through. When losses happen, the first reaction is not to look back at yourself, but to find something external to blame. You blame the market. You blame the news. You blame the big players. But what you don't realize is, that's just a very natural human mechanism, protecting the ego. Because admitting, "I'm wrong," hurts far more than believing the market is wrong. But the moment you choose to protect your ego is the moment you reject progress. You start a loop that most people never escape from. You enter a trade with a clear plan. But when price goes against you, fear appears. You move your stop loss. You hope. You convince yourself it will come back. And when it doesn't, you panic. You cut the loss at the wrong time. Or worse, you hold the trade until your account takes serious damage. After that, you sit there staring at the screen and tell yourself, "Today's market is terrible." But what's the truth? It's not the market that broke your plan. It's your emotions that broke it. Fear makes you exit too early. Greed makes you hold too long. Regret makes you re-enter a trade that was never in your plan. And then, you repeat everything all over again. Loss emotion breaking rules more loss. This is not a random sequence of events. It's a system of mistakes being repeated every single day. There is a very hard truth to accept. Your biggest enemy in trading is not the market. It is yourself. Not because you lack knowledge, but because you don't do what you already know. And if you don't stop, if you don't face the problem directly, if you don't take responsibility for every decision you make, then no matter how many strategies you change, how many indicators you learn, the result will stay the same. Because the problem was never the market. If you don't change, the result will repeat itself. But what is discipline? Really? Many people think discipline means doing more, checking charts constantly, hunting for setups on every time frame, posting stories every time you win a trade to prove you're improving. But that's not discipline. That's just a form of emotional busyness. Real discipline is very different. And most of the time, no one sees it. It's when you open the chart and do nothing. Not because you're lazy, but because the conditions aren't there yet. It's when you see a setup that looks almost right. Your heart starts beating faster, but you still pass because it's not part of your system. It's when you place a stop loss and accept the risk from the beginning. No bargaining, no moving it, no hoping. It's when you lose, but you don't rush in to recover. No revenge trading. No letting one bad trade turn into a chain of bad decisions. It sounds simple, but in reality, very few people can do it. Because discipline doesn't give you excitement. It doesn't give you dopamine like entering trades non-stop. It doesn't make you feel like you're playing a game. On the contrary, it makes you feel bored. And here's the interesting part. The traders who start making consistent money are usually the ones whose trading journey becomes very boring. No more emotional entries. No more being dragged by every candle. No more staying up all night just to watch charts move. Everything becomes repetitive. Observe, wait, act, stop. No drama, no intense emotions, just consistency. You know you're maturing when you no longer need the market to stimulate you. Because at that point, you understand one thing. It's not who trades more that wins. It's who breaks the rules less. And discipline in silence is doing what needs to be done, even when no one is watching, no one acknowledges it, and sometimes even you don't feel any excitement from it. But those silent actions are exactly what keep you alive long enough to win, because in this market, the loud ones disappear very quickly. Only the silent ones are the ones who remain. There is a paradox that only after you've spent enough time in the market, you begin to realize the people who make money are the ones who act the least. While most new traders are always in a state of having to do something, open the chart, must place a trade, see price move, must react. Fear of missing out, fear of staying out, fear of being slower than others. They are like antelopes in the wild, always moving, always alert, always reacting to the smallest movement. But that very panic is what makes them prey. And skilled traders, they are like crocodiles, lying still beneath the water, not rushing, not chasing everything that moves in front of them. They can wait for a very long time, not because they don't see opportunities, but because they understand not every opportunity is worth acting on. When the market is noisy, they stay out. When the entry is unclear, they pass. When emotions are unstable, they don't trade, not because they are weak, but because they are strong enough to do nothing. And then, when the moment comes, they act. Fast, clean, precise. No hesitation, no emotion, no excess. One trade, but the result of hours, even days of waiting. You see them trading less, but you don't see the level of selectivity behind each decision. This is what most beginners don't understand. They think money comes from doing more, but in reality, money comes from doing better. It's not that you lack opportunities. You just don't know how to ignore bad ones. It's not that you need to trade more. You need to trade better. And this leads to a very blunt truth. It's not who acts more that wins. It's who acts at the right time. The market is always there. Opportunities will always come back, but your account won't. So sometimes the most powerful decision is not to enter a trade, but to stand still and wait like a true predator. There will come a moment when you begin to realize that all your past excuses are meaningless. The market is too difficult. Today was just unlucky. Price didn't follow my analysis. They sound very reasonable. They sound very easy to accept. But the problem is, those statements don't move you forward. They only make you feel less pain after losing. And the price you pay is that you stay stuck in the same place. A trader begins to mature, not when they win more, but when they start asking the right questions. No longer asking, "What is the market doing to me?" but asking, "What did I do wrong in my plan? Was this trade aligned with my system? Or was I just entering based on emotion?" That is the moment you shift from being a victim to becoming responsible. And responsibility always comes with discomfort, because now there is no one left to blame. No more big players, no more news, no more bad luck. Only you and your decisions. But from that point on, you begin to gain the power to change. You start rewriting every trade you took, not to show off wins, but to understand why you were wrong. You begin to keep a trading journal, recording entry, exit, emotions, and reasons behind each trade. At first, it may feel unnecessary, but then you will realize something very clearly. You are not losing because the market is too hard. You are losing because you are repeating the same mistakes too many times. You enter trades without proper conditions. You move your stop loss out of fear. You revenge trade right after a loss. And if you don't write it down, you will never see those patterns. But once you see them, you can no longer pretend they don't exist. That is when real change begins. Not loud, not immediate breakthroughs, but slowly, you become more precise. And remember this, the market doesn't need you to be perfect. It only needs you to take responsibility long enough to become better. Because when you stop blaming, you finally start learning. And when you start learning seriously, results will no longer be random. There is a paradox that very few people accept until they have paid a heavy price. Discipline, the thing that makes you feel restricted, is actually the thing that brings freedom. It sounds contradictory, because when you start being disciplined, you have to give up many things. Give up emotional entries. Give up the feeling of constant action. Give up even those opportunities that seem very attractive. You start placing stop losses. You start limiting risk. You start saying no to unclear trades. And during that phase, you will feel like you are making less money. But what you gain is something most traders never achieve: survival. In this market, no one gets eliminated because they don't make enough money. They get eliminated because they lose all their money. And once you are out of the game, every opportunity after that becomes meaningless. That's why mature traders don't talk much about profits. They talk about risk. They talk about capital preservation. They talk about staying in the game long enough. Because they understand one very clearly thing: you don't need to win big. You just need to not die. Discipline helps you control risk. Controlling risk helps you survive. And only when you survive long enough do you get the chance to make money. This is not a fast path, but it is the real path. You don't need one winning trade to change your life. You need a system that keeps you from being eliminated. And then, one day, you will realize financial freedom does not come from big trades, not from going all in at the right time. It comes from the fact that you are still here, after hundreds, thousands of trades, still having capital, still having discipline, still having the ability to make decisions calmly. And that is real freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom of not being eliminated by the market. In a game where most people disappear very quickly, just by staying in, you already have an advantage. In the end, after all the winning and losing trades, after the moments of excitement followed by disappointment, after those periods when you thought you had understood the market only to lose everything again, you will realize one very simple thing: the market has never changed because of you. It is still there, still moving, still not caring whether you are right or wrong. It doesn't know who you are. It doesn't know how long you've been learning. And it has no responsibility to be fair to you. The only thing that can change is how you exist within it. You can keep blaming, keep searching for a perfect strategy, keep hoping that one day things will become easier. Or you can stop chasing the market, stop reacting based on emotions, stop lying to yourself that you're just a little bit unlucky, and start doing something much harder: taking responsibility. Taking responsibility for every trade you enter, for every time you break your plan, for every decision you know is wrong but still make. No one will do that for you. No indicator can fix discipline. No strategy can save someone who cannot control themselves. Only you. And your choices every single day. You choose to enter or stay out. You choose to follow rules or break them. You choose short-term emotions or long-term survival. And those small choices accumulate into the results you have today. Not in a single day, but over the entire journey. So if there is only one thing you need to take away from this video, it is this. Stop blaming. Not because the market is right, but because you need to take back control of your own game. And when you stop blaming, you can finally start changing. Start being disciplined. Not loudly. No need to prove anything to anyone. No need for immediate results. Just every day, make a few less mistakes. And one day, when you look back, you will no longer ask, "Is the market against me?" You will understand. You never needed to beat the market. You only needed to not lose to yourself.